Hey guys, so here's another episode of Learning Tarot with LT. So today we're going to actually look at the Ace of Cups. And so what I did do was I did include four different cards that we can look at. And the reason why I did because each card, like when you're looking at tarot, like each card may bring out a different emotion. Even though they're all the same, all the cards are Ace of Cups. Like if I use one deck, I may see one thing in the Ace of Cup if I pull that card, and then if I pull another deck and like looking at the different pictures on there, I may, also get another meaning. So that's why I wanted to include this in here, the different cards, so you guys can get familiar with looking at different cards and interpreting it the way that feels good to you. So let's go ahead and look at the first card here. This is like a standard card in my opinion. Like I see this in a lot of tarot decks. Um, and this card actually just kind of like represents like connection, truth, attraction. Also, like with aces, aces represents like new beginning. So when you see when you see a card that has an ace, you always want to think there's some type of new beginning that's coming. Then you have the cups here. So the cup is also a new beginning of an emotional experience. So cups represents like an emotional experience. The ace represents like a new beginning. So off top, like when this comes out in a in a tarot card reading, that there's some type of new beginning of an emotional experience. Like that's automatically, you know that just by getting that card. Then when you look at this card up here, like looking at the actual picture, look at this. You have a cup and it's water overflowing, right? So the way I look at that is that, this could be overflowing with emotion, like your emotions are overflowing, right? Um, it could also mean like having enough, or having more than enough. So like, if getting into a new relationship, I may have more than enough love because this person is loving me more, more than I ever known love, or they showing me a lot of different emotional experience, or a lot of different ways to love me, or a lot of different, like, so those are the things I'm going to automatically think of when I see this card: the new emotional experience, the overflowing over the cup, right? I'm going to think about that. I'm also going to look at this bird and know that this bird is bringing elevation, enlightenment, hope, and wisdom. So I know that those are main things I'm seeing in this card. So we got that. We got the overflowing. We got the hand. Like we have like somebody handing us this love. So it's something that's like it's you. That's how you know it's kind of like a new beginning too, because somebody is just now starting to hand you something, and they're handing you like love that's overflowing. The hand can also represent like strength, like power or protection. So somebody could like be giving you a new beginning of strength, when it comes to love, like a new having power over love, like new beginning of like power, or a new protected love. Those are things that you can kind of like see in this picture, because when you start learning symbols and stuff like that, or even researching these symbols, you'll start to like you can put stuff together when you see it in the card, because a lot of these tarot card makers, they put a lot of effort and energy into these cards. So they try to put these symbols in here so you can start seeing the meaning. Because when you're doing tarot cards, you're supposed to see it. You're supposed to know it too, right? But like when I first started off, I like started looking at it and seeing what I or acknowledging what I see in the card. But not only that, another thing I started doing was I do that, and then I'll look up the meaning and see if like was I close. And so that's how I got familiar with like learning tarot. Also, tarot can, like this card here, like cups, they can represent like feminine energy, right? Um some people say like when they see this card here, like the water overflowing, like it's never ending. So it could be like a never ending love that's here. You always want to know that that the ace of cups still represents that emotion, that intuition, intimacy, and love. And like that's kind of like what all the cups represents. Like it's different parts of it, I'll teach you that too. But in the gist of everything, it represents like the emotions, the intuition, the intimacy, and love part. So here go another card. And I want you to look at this card and see what you see. It's kind of very similar to this one when you go back to it, but this is just their interpretation of this card. It's still the same, like overflowing. It has these four waters coming out. On this one, it has four as well. To me, four represents stability, foundation. So this could also represent like there's a foundation in this new love. You also have these green leaves. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look that up in a second. But you want to recognize that, like I said, that this card always bring out the emotional, intuition, intimacy, and love part of your life, right? That's what this represents: emotional, intuition, intimacy, and love. So if you was using like the emotional side of this, and this is like like the action here, but if you was taking looking at, I'm sorry, taking a look at the actual emotional part of this, this is like getting in touch with your feelings. Expressing deep feelings towards somebody, letting your heart lead the way, because like this is a new relationship, so you're gonna let your heart lead the way. If you was kind of like experiencing like the intimacy, you're gonna be looking at like falling in love, like a new beginning and falling in love with somebody. Um, establishing like a bond with someone, getting close to someone, going to a deeper level, or feeling like attraction of growth or something like this, something that's growing here. When we're looking at like the intuition part, we're looking at trusting like your inner voice, responding to messages from within, enhancing your psychic awareness or your psychic ability, getting in tune with yourself, going with your gut reaction. So those are things that you're looking at when it comes to um, the intuition part. Now, when it comes to actual love here, this is like you expressing your affection towards somebody. You're kind of opening yourself up to others. That's huge. You're starting to open yourself up. You may be getting rid of any type of negativity that's around you. Um, letting your love light shine, like showing this loving side of yourself. So those are things that you'll look at when it comes to love here. So I did look up these flowers, and they're actually called water lilies or lotus flowers. And so, it's a symbol of purity. They say that they may hop or crawl in mud. Now they're talking about the frog, but they dive in the water, come out to sit on the lily pad, and they are clean again. So this is definitely represent purity. So this could represent like purity and love, this new love that you have. Also, it means like fertility, pleasure, celebration, hope, rebirth, wellness, and peace. So, if you're looking at this card or pull a card and like your focus is just on this water lilies, you're gonna automatically think, okay, there's a new beginning or a rebirth when it comes to like fertility, purity, innocence, hope, wellness, or peace. So it depends on where your focus at. But if I'm looking at this and this just stand out, and this card just does just stand out for me, you know. A couple things that I see in this card are the water lilies, and then I see this cup overflowing. So I'm gonna automatically think, okay, there's some type of fertility, there's some type of rebirth here. And then I have this cup that's overflowing. So I know that I'm overflowing when it comes to rebirth. The rebirth or the wellness. So those are things that you can look at when you're looking at this particular card. Like if you pull a deck that looks like this, you can look that up. You can kind of read it that way. So another card here is the Ace of Cups, and this time she's actually holding it. It's like, so to me, it's like she's in control. That's how I look at it. Like she's in control of her emotions, even though they may be deep feelings or intimacy, attunement, compassion, or love here. That's what this card represents. She's still in control. Like, look at these hands here. This hand is still protecting this. So remember when I was talking about on this card here, I mentioned, sorry, I went back too far. I mentioned about the protection hand. On here we still have that same protection hand, right? Also, this is kind of like showing me, like I said, she's in control of her emotions, even though she may have deep feelings or intimacy or attunement, compassion, or love. She is definitely in control of it. She's not allowing anybody else to control that emotion for her, or even like, um, you know, I feel like she letting somebody experience it, but she's not actually allowing anybody else to like dictate how her love is going to be. Like she's completely in control of that. Also, with this being a woman here, this also represents that feminine energy that I was talking about at first. You can really see that in this card, that this is definitely more feminine energy here. This woman is definitely in control. She also, look, when I looked at this, I felt like she was praying for this love. It could have been something that she was praying for, and like after she, like, this is my interpretation here, like after she finished praying for it, she could open up her hand and had it. So this is like, let me know, okay, like, okay, oh wow, I got a new beginning. So that's something that you can look at that, or however you read it. Like, I want you guys to go back over these too, and like really like maybe pause it and look at, okay, what this card means to me. What you see in the card, where you getting out of it. And you notice that they have water lilies here, but they don't really stand out here as much as this one stands out. And as like you learn the meanings of it, but I feel like each deck that you deal with, it made me more of a focus, because I have like several tarot decks, and like I just read each card different. I still have the base meaning of it, but I always go about how something made me feel, what messages I'm getting when I'm actually holding this particular one. So this right here is one, it's a cup, and it's still overflowing, right? I feel like this is really like something overly done, like a never ending thing, the way that this cup is overflowing. This could also bring awareness. I've read before, like this could bring like an emotional awareness in your life. Like there's like a seed that's been planting, so you're actually watering the seed. You're starting that beginning stage here. This card also mean that love is the essence of the situation of a situation. So know that love is a loving energy here, or like I said, emotional experience here. You always want to recognize that there is an emotional experience here. And this emotional experience may or may not be like romantic, but I mean, when I see this, like I always, like I've been saying, like I'm gonna like it depends on the other cards, but I'm automatically gonna think love or emotional experience, a new beginning of love or emotional experience. So when you see this card, it suggests like some type of inner attunement or in spirituality, right? You always want to think of cups of the heart, like, and like I said, the heart or emotional experience that's about to happen. Um, the ace stand for knowing the matters of the heart, or knowing that something is going, like the Ace of Cups is like knowing something is about to be an emotional experience, knowing something that's about to involve love, right? You always want to trust your feelings, like if, like, say if you're reading this card, you see this card, and then you may think about something else, like, okay, I know this is an emotional experience, but maybe like something like may come to your head, like a car or something like that. It could be like somebody having an emotional experience over their car, because you know that this card represents the emotional experience, and like you had this flash in your head that's about a car, an actual car. And so you could be like, okay, like, okay, are you having like some type of emotional experience about a car? Are you emotional about getting a car? Did something happen to your car? And you can like tell them like, okay, well, there's some new beginnings when it comes to like this emotional experience. Like, you can let them know like, okay, I feel like there's a car that's about to come, or a new beginning when it comes to your car, whatever it is. You just put two and two together, like you definitely want to take the meaning of the cards, but not only take the meanings of the cards, but pick up, mention what you're picking up, or what you're seeing in your head. So you want to kind of like let the power of your emotions guide you. It's guiding you into a new direction. Also, you want to definitely express, or express like the love aspect of it. So sometimes when I do readings, I like, say if I'm doing a one-on-one reading, I like to ask questions, make sure that I'm on this that I'm getting the messages and I'm interpreting the messages correctly, because sometimes people think that, oh, because you're a reader, you should automatically know. No, sometimes we're like, as readers, we may get certain little things, but we're trying to put it together, like it doesn't really mean the same thing to me that it may mean to you. I use this example of like my mom. She has a cousin that like she calls herself a prophet. And so one of the things that she does is she tells you things that like that she can see. So like, say if like she was, I'm gonna just say a reading, or she was reading me and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna get a lot of money." Truth be told, I may be like having a contract for $1 million, but it's because she doesn't know the concept of that or actually experiencing that type of money. She'll just be like, "Okay, you're gonna get a lot of money." She's not gonna say you're gonna get $1 million, even though that those messages may have came to her that it's $1 million, but in her mind can't process or can't fathom the idea of someone getting $1 million, that she knows. So she'll just say a lot of money. So like, when you're doing readings, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, don't be afraid to like ask intuitive questions. Like one time I was doing a reading on this guy, and he was asking about money, and I was like, "But why do I feel this emotion about your heart? Like, who hurt you?" And like those type of questions I asked that person. And then he went on to tell me like about his ex-girlfriend. And then so when we discussed that and I gave him a reading about that, I told him how it tied into his money. Like his emotions was blocked, and like he kind of gave up on like hope. So that because the hope was gone, it affected his romantic side and his money side. And so with me asking those questions, I got down to like the nitty gritty to figure out like, okay, this guy really is going through it, but it's all because of this one thing. It's the aspect of the hope. It was missing. So he couldn't be hopeful about a relationship, or he couldn't be hopeful about making money. It's just like he was kind of like putting himself in a survival mode almost. But anyway, guys, so this is the Ace of Cups. This is a lot longer than I've ever done any tarot video, but I hope that it helps. I hope that it help you understand it more. And I tune in tomorrow. I'll have more tarot. Can't even get my words out, but sorry about that. Tomorrow I'll have more tarot lessons, so definitely tune in tomorrow. And you can actually go back and rewatch all my videos about tarot, learning tarot, if you want more understanding of it. Thank you guys.